All right, everyone. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, talking Florida State and Miami. The two old rivals get together on Saturday at 3:30 in Tallahassee at Doak Campbell. We got Alonzo on the line. Zo 1219. Check them out at the U Family there on YouTube right here. Lock it in right after we get off the line. Just check them out. Go give them a sub. And I'm sure most of you are already familiar with Zo's work. So, hey, Zo, how you doing today?
I'm good, just a little tired. Was going to make the game. Now I'm not going to make the game. Decided to be financially responsible and stay
Sometimes we got to
home and
do
not
that.
spend not. Yeah, so I decided to be financially responsible, stay home and not. I was looking at, I'm a Wyndham member and I'm a Marriott member, and my prices was still like $250, $300 a night. So I was like, no, not for 2 nights, almost $1,000 trip. I have more things that I could be doing with that type of money. So decided to stay home and watch the game from home.
I hear you.
So
I hear you. I hear all of that. I've been doing some traveling myself over the last couple months, and it gets pricey. Uh-oh, we lost Zo. Hopefully we got him back. Hey, Zo, you on the line with us?
was that me?
There he is.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know if that was me.
I think so.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi seems to be real good.
I believe
My
so.
Wi-Fi seems to be real good. So
I'm not totally hearing everything. So we got Florida State, Miami. Before we take some questions, and hopefully we get some folks in here, we've got about a half hour or so. Hopefully we get some decent questions and comments. So bring them on in. We got Dennis Wilson on the line. We got the Plastic Bowl on the line too as well. So anyway, you thought this team might go undefeated. What are you seeing out of these guys in recent weeks? Are you feeling good about this, or they got the one win under their belt, but they lost to Georgia Tech recently. Virginia Tech beat them in overtime, so or just at the end of the game. So
I'm kind of down. I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. You know what I'm saying? I really bought into what Coach Diaz was saying in off season, and it seems to me like he was telling everybody what they wanted to hear, but at the end of the day, not doing what he said he was gonna do. For instance, like playing the best players. I'm not going to name, but there's a few players that I feel like should have played. I apologize. I don't know why I'm breaking up. My internet says pretty good. I apologize for breaking up. I don't know why I'm having any issues.
Oh, you're good right now.
Okay. I'm kind of upset because he talked an explosive offense. These are things that he said, not things that I said. So it's not like I'm making up things that he said. He said the offense was going to be more explosive, which he said that we're going to be way more aggressive, which we aren't. The defense is having problems. We didn't play Russo for the first 3 or 4 games, and he's still leading us in sacks. Why wasn't Russo playing? I have no idea. They say Nestor was hurt. They say Nestor was hurt. But was he or was he not? Lingard, they say he's still hurt. Then it's little cat and mouse games that I don't like. Like, I know that Jaron is his guys. I feel when Jaron got pulled out of what game was it? The Virginia Tech game. They immediately used a shoulder injury for a reason why he got pulled out, and because shoulder injury, he's not going to lose his spot to that. But at the same time, when Perry got his shoulder dislocated, never mentioned that in an interview, and those things, like, I'm like, what are we doing? When you say you're going to play the best players and you're going to be real, you need to be real, not half the time, not all the time. I refuse to accept. I can accept you losing and being honorable doing it, I don't feel like he was very honorable this year. I felt like he ducked and dodged and played the system because everybody wanted him so much. And I'm still a fan of his, but I just feel like, you know, you need to own up and get this coaching staff. We have more than enough talent. More than enough talent to win the coach of the division. More than enough. There's people can blame the offensive line, this, that. You give David Cutcliffe this team, and we're in the ACC coach of division every year.
Yeah. So where do I start on that? I don't think there's any question. What you're saying right there is the truth in regards to the talent on the roster compared to who they're playing. They're clearly the most talented roster in the division, and right now they're 2-3 in the conference. And they lost to Georgia Tech. We lost to the
Citadel.
Who lost to the Citadel. Georgia Tech, who beat South Florida, who's a mess, by 4 points. That was their one win of the season. That was the only other game that they won.
That's why I say
Tech
we lost.
Was a 2-touchdown underdog. Virginia Tech was struggling against Old Dominion and Furman and raced out 28-0. So who's your quarterback out of these two?
Well, I'm a Perry guy, but I'm going with Jaron because Jaron's the starter. You know, I want to win football games. At the end of the day, I want to win football games. And I'm not a big Enos fan. I don't like the way. All right, from 20 to 20 is okay. But when it's time to get down to the nitty gritty, get into the end zone, when it's time to once we get in the red zone, he calls double reverses. He calls just all kind of crazy plays. It's like, what are you trying to manufacture plays when you have the talent? You know, design. If you're an offensive coordinator, you're a great offensive coordinator, then you design plays. And I don't think it's a coincidence that at the age of 50, I think this is maybe his first or second offense coordinator job. He was a head coach and an offense coordinator, I think maybe once, and a quarterback. I don't think that's a mistake. I mean, it doesn't take that long to become an offensive coordinator in college football anymore. Using your 50s, you're becoming a head coach. You know, he's looking for a head coach job, but as of right now, if he was to get fired today, I don't know if he can get a job in Division I football because it looks so bad. And I understand some of the routes he run, the route trees. I've watched other film of other teams that run almost the same system. Difference is the variations are they'll run more wide receivers and tight ends. He'll run more tight ends. His play action, he runs under the center more than most of the spreads. Like a West Coast style system, something like that. To me, he makes the kids think entirely too much. You know, he makes the quarterbacks think entirely too much instead of letting them play football. You know, it's just right now it's depressing because there is. If I didn't feel like we had talent, if I didn't feel like we had talent, then I wouldn't be upset. I feel like we have the talent, like you said, especially in the Coastal, to where we shouldn't be losing to inferior teams.
So when you talk about being too conservative on offense and you wanting them to be aggressive, and then you bring up running crazy plays in the red zone. So when you talk about play design, I totally am on board with you because running reverses isn't necessarily that's it's a trick play. It's not necessarily a well-designed play because everybody's got it in their playbook, and that doesn't mean you'd never run a reverse. It's just sometimes you see play design from certain teams in the country that you can tell that they've diagnosed a weakness and they've designed a play and they understand from game film that this play design is going to work against that type of defense. But when you talk about them being more aggressive, are you talking about taking shots downfield?
Well, I mean, it's they take the shots downfield. I am breaking up some. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi today. I see that they do take shots downfield. I think Nikoski does, but Jaren doesn't. Nikoski takes more shots than Jaren. I do see my Wi-Fi messed up too. I don't have no idea what's going on with it right now.
You're
But
all right.
I do see he make more at least attempts to make more plays downfield than on that aspect. But I'm looking at the play calling. I'm looking at the way he and it seems as if he refuses to do anything, especially in the red zone. Like I said, like the reverse to the short side of the field. I know our offensive line isn't the greatest, but I mean, run a spread out of the shotgun and give the running back more of an opportunity to score points out of that position. It's just so many different things that I see, and it's hard to grasp it, especially in the red zone. But then again, it's a lot on players too, because I've seen players running free down the middle of the field and quarterbacks not get them the ball as well. So I can agree with fans when it says it's players have to execute as well. But at the same time, coach up these guys. Enos is getting $1 million a year to coach these guys up. Our position coaches get coached to coach these guys up. So if they're not developing, do you blame the player or do you blame the coach? Every team has players that might develop, but you can't tell me you have a bunch of 4-star players and you can't develop these guys into be better players. DJ Ivy on that punt and safe, there's no way there had to be no discipline. There had to be for him to be allowed to do that. He must have thought he could do whatever he wanted to do, because that's what he did.
Yeah, I caught that. So if you can't win a division championship, let's say, and you're only a game behind, but one of the two teams in front of you, North Carolina, has the tiebreaker against you. So it's not looking too good to try to steal this division, because you got two teams at the top at 3-2, Virginia, North Carolina. Then you got two teams at 2-2 in Pitt and Virginia Tech. Then you guys are there with Duke at 2-3. So is this the game that you want to win the most? If you can't win a division, is it all about Florida State? If you win this game, you salvage something.
Almost definitely. Well, I don't think we can salvage anything, to be honest with you. Unless you win the ACC coach, you're not salvaging anything. But to ruin Florida State, just to beat Florida State, you have to win that game. That game means a lot, every year. That game means a lot. It's like Michigan State or Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Notre Dame. That game means a lot. Even Clemson, South Carolina up here, that game means a lot to both of those teams. So yeah, you have to win that game. That's the game we have to win. And when you look at it, FSU is starting a brand new offensive coordinator as well. So there is no excuses to it. It's usually a chess match between offenses versus defenses. Saturday I'll be looking at what offense look better. Does Kendall Brown's offense look better? Is this guy's more prepared to play, or is Dan Enos' offense more prepared to play? That's what I'll be looking at Saturday. And that's the matchup I'll be looking at, because that's when I'll see, who's the better offensive coordinator. And to be honest, I wanted Kendall Browns. They're running the 2 quarterback system right now. And I know they faltered a little bit in their scoring, but besides I'm throwing out the Bethune-Cookman game. Besides the Virginia Tech game, Virginia Tech game, when have we scored over 30 points this year with all this talent on offense, with 2 of the top-rated tight ends in the country, some of the best receivers in the country coming out of high school, running backs, some of the best running backs in the country coming out of high school. If there's any weakness, it is the offensive line. To me, if you're a great coach, then you learn how to coach. You put your players in the best position to succeed. You don't bring your system in. You create a system for the players that you have. And because the players you have are going to change every year. I don't see too many coaches running just one system from year to year because it doesn't work. Unless you're like a Wisconsin and you know these are the only type of players you're going to get. You know, coaches change their system. Urban Meyer won 3 national championships with 3 different quarterbacks with 3 different systems because he had different style players. That's great when you can adjust. Even Nick Saban had to start adjusting, saying, I can't do this, I have to do that. I think all 5 championships Belichick won, they were with different systems. You know, if you can't adjust, if you think that your system is the system that's going to work, then you're in the wrong field. You have to adjust to your talent. Your talent, unless you can just get the perfect players for your system, then it's not going to work. And coming out of high school every year, I don't see how you do that.
You'll see Belichick, to a certain extent, change things up week to week. You'll see some kid out of the backfield carry the ball 28 times for 150 yards, and then the next week he doesn't even see the field, and you're wondering what is going on. But he completely designed a different offense, not a completely different offense. They still do the base sets, but in terms of how he was going to attack the next team, completely different.
I've seen him do it from quarter to quarter. I've seen him come out one quarter with 4 wide receivers spread, and next quarter with 2 tight ends, jumbo packs. Like, what is it? Just to keep you off balance for you not to really know what he's doing. I'm not gonna say we haven't. I haven't seen one wheel route being ran by the University of Miami yet this year. I haven't seen one wheel route. With these great running backs, I haven't seen one real route. Not one. I haven't seen the ball thrown to the tight ends too often in the red zone. We have big tight ends. I haven't seen that too often. I haven't seen it. It amazes me the talent that I have not seen on the field. And I'm like Allen Iverson. Well, these guys aren't the best in practice. Like practice. I mean, listen, practice. I am playing who I know is. I understand. I'm showing favoritism to the best player. I'm sorry. That happens in all walks of life. You on your job, if they know you are the best at what you do, then you're gonna get away with a little bit more than somebody that's not as good as you. That's just facts. That's the facts of life. If you want to keep your job as a coach, you play the best players. I can guarantee you when Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr, another player would have got suspended for a game because Bobby Portis punched somebody in practice and he got shipped out of Chicago. Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr and it was like, okay, let it go. We're not suspending Michael Jordan. They didn't suspend Steve Kerr neither, but if Steve Kerr would have punched Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr would have got suspended, probably suspended, kicked out of town because who's the best player? I mean, that's just how it goes. You can't win without playing.
Johnson said it most famously. Jimmy Johnson said, I treat everybody fairly, but that doesn't mean I treat them the same.
Exactly. If you are the best, you are the best. That's why I say you'll never see a coach that was a great player be a great coach because it was something in them different. They might not have had to work as hard as somebody, and they were just naturally great. Like Bo Jackson, he wasn't taught that ability. There's no way. So how can he teach somebody something that was a gift? So is I just look at it like if we played our best players and we put them in the best position to win football games, we would only probably have 1 loss on our record this year. There's no team on our record besides Florida that's actually was better than us.
So we appreciate that we've got about 60 people on the line. I had to send out this notification a little bit late, about a half hour before we jumped on at about 3:20 with Zoe, because I wanted to nail down the time so I could let you know when we were going to be here. But we got Zoe for about another 20 minutes or so talking about Miami and Florida State. Somebody asked in the live chat, and they asked, directed the question toward me, but I'm going to ask it toward you as well. I'm going to give my opinion, my take, and then Zoe, I'll throw it at you. But if you can take off the orange and green, if you can take off the U, if you can take off the turnover chain for just a second and try to separate yourself a little bit. But they're asking, and I forget who it is, so I apologize for not identifying who it was, that asked, who is the greater upside of a program, Florida State or Miami? I think it's extremely close, because I think we have two teams that are roughly the 40th to 45th best teams in the country right now. They have talent that's more like in the top 15 range, top 15 to 20 range, but they're playing like top 45 to 50 teams. I do think that Miami was decidedly better than Florida State last year. Florida State was a mess. They played like 3 decent games last year. The other ones, unprepared, unmotivated, just in every way, shape, and form. I think Florida State's playing significantly better this year, even though the record doesn't show it at 4-4 versus 5-7 last year. Miami's regressed. Miami's playing worse than they did last year, so that's got to be a major disappointment. So I think that it's extremely close. I'm not convinced that either program has the coach that is going to make them an elite program again. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying I'm not convinced. And so I'm going to give Manny Diaz a little bit more rope, since this is his first season, Willie Taggart's second season.
And I'm going to say it's extremely close as well. I'm going to say I think both teams have the opportunity to have great upsides. I think both teams have an opportunity to have great upsides with both of the head coaches that they have. The one thing that I did learn about Willie Taggart from last year to this year is that he called plays last year. He realized he could not call plays. He realized that was so. As a man, he said, "This is something I can't do. Let me go get somebody who can call plays." And in the first year of that, you've seen a significant change in the offense. With Manny Diaz, this is his first year as well. What's going on, Demetrius? With Manny Diaz, this is his first year as well. So the talent level is going to be there. It comes down to who has, it's not even the head coach. Who has the gall right now to say that I'm going to go, if this doesn't work, I'm going to fire you and I'm going to hire somebody to make these guys better, to make this talent better. Willie Taggart has proven to do that already when he went and hired Kendall Browns. He's I can't do it. This is not what I can do. I'm not saying I'm not good enough, but obviously it's not working. So maybe we need to change. And that's admitting that you're not being successful and also addressing the problem helps a lot. So I feel like him doing that helps. It buys him a little bit more time. I feel like if this Dan Enos project doesn't work this year, he's not going anywhere next year. But I feel like if it doesn't work, someone needs to sit down and have him change some philosophies of his offense. I don't think Dan Enos is a terrible coach, but I think this offense right now, it just does not look good. It doesn't look good. And from any standpoint, you can't tell me that red zone, I think we're damn near, dead last in red zone. I mean, it's horrible. And I know we could have won game on field goal kicks and all of this and all of that, but all that would have done was mask the problem. It would have masked. It would have, just like what happened when we went 10-0, and it was all about please, I don't want Les Miles at all. You can't win at LSU with all that talent. How you gonna win at Miami? You couldn't win at LSU with the talent he had at LSU. Look at LSU now after Les Miles. Les Miles won with Nick Saban players. Please, let's not start this. I'm serious. He was a bad coach. He was a horrible coach.
He gets kids to play. He gets kids in the system. He gets kids recruited. They're inspired. They love him. He's a motivator, all those things. But game management, clock management, offensive system, all of that, awful.
Terrible.
Keep going.
Terrible. So I mean, no less miles. Not just that. I implore family of the chat to not even. Manny Diaz is not going anywhere. So there's even no sense of talking about hiring a head coach, because that's not going to happen. He's not going anywhere for at least 2 more seasons. So the coaching has to get better. The coaching has to get better. And I threw something out there the other day. If they did fire Dan Enos, and I threw who I would want, and everybody was like, "You're crazy. That would never happen." And I know it would never happen. But I said who I would want, and who I would want is the father of Kendall, is Art. He's not banned from college football. It's just teams that are afraid to hire him. I would love to see what he would do. If you see the talent he did at Baylor, I would love to see the talent he can do at Miami as offensive coordinator. But that's never going to happen. That's a pipe dream for me, because there aren't other coordinators like people say Mike Leach. He's not leaving Washington State to become an offensive coordinator. Not happening. He hasn't had a boss in forever. These guys that a lot of guys mentioned, they are the boss. They don't work for me. The only person they answer is the AD. So these guys aren't bosses. So I couldn't see Mike Leach sitting on the sideline and Manny Diaz saying something to him, because Mike Leach is kind of crazy too. He'd be like, so it wouldn't work. It wouldn't even work. Even if he wanted to take it, it wouldn't work, because the egos and the personalities, it wouldn't mesh. It just couldn't happen. So our only hope is that Dan Enos looks at some of the things he's doing and say, okay, this isn't working. Let's try a few more things that may work. I believe we have a very talented team. Not the most talented. Now, one thing I can give is that strength and conditioning coach. He has done a great job with these kids. The offensive line is getting better from week to week. So the offensive line coach right now, even though people say they want him gone, they're looking better from week to week. And he started 2 freshmen, so that's kind of unfair to throw him under the bus with starting 2 freshmen with Zion, who never played. Who played tight end in high school, and I forgot the other freshman. So we're playing 2 freshmen. And the offensive line has gotten better. They're not great. They're not world beaters, but they've gotten better. So coaching, right now I get a slight edge of coaching. It's actually basically a tie, because Florida State defense isn't good at all. We talk about our defense. Florida State defense isn't good. I mean, they can give up 50 points just as well as they can score 50. So I had the game picked 21-17 Florida State 2 days ago. And I'm going to actually do a reverse on your show and say 24-21 Miami.
Okay, 24-21 Miami. So
Yeah.
Florida State opened as a 6.5-point favorite. I think it's down to 3 or 3.5 right now.
Yeah.
Not that matters once they hit the field, but you can get my weekly predictions down at the link below, next to Voice of College Football Community. All the games in the top 25 plus more against the spread. 58% against the spread will make you some money. We got Zoe on the line. If anybody that is either in the live stream right now, which we've got about 65 or 70 in the live stream, or once the video posts, hopefully we get a lot more views, obviously, than that. If any of you are not subscribed at Alonzo1219, the U family, that's what you need to go do. If you love college football, you love the U, get over there.
I know why my stream is acting up now. And last time I did StreamYard, I did it with my phone. My tablet isn't really compatible with StreamYard, and that's why it was hard for me to get back on. And I can't even download the app on my tablet, and I'm not using a computer. So I should have did this on my phone instead of on my tablet, but I jumped on my tablet and did it.
No worries.
I can't even
download.
Yeah, I can't even download the app. I see I'm not in HD either, so it's like my tablet it's not compatible with StreamYard. Phone is.
So if you were running the show, you're keeping Manny and you're getting rid of Enos. I know that Enos isn't going anywhere, like you said. He's making too much money. They've got him under contract. He's most likely not going anywhere. But if you were running the show, you'd get rid of him.
He's gone.
And you keep Manny.
He's gone.
Okay.
I would have no choice because I can't. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be able to afford to keep paying Manny. But I would tell Manny that the offense has absolute. So whatever coach comes in here, whatever offense system he wants to run, whatever running backs or quarterbacks, whatever that has nothing to do with you. When you can't be a great head coach and hire great talent and expect your great talent coaches. I think you have great talent as coaches to coach, but you're dictating what they do and how they do it. That would hurt. That's what hurt Nick Saban for a while. He had to stop doing that. That's what's hurting Georgia right now. Is Kirby Smart wants to control what the offense does. You can't do that. You hire guys because you feel that they can do the job. My thing with Dan Enos is he's an old man in the coaching fraternity. He's been around for a long time. You have to be able to evolve. You have to be able to evolve.
No doubt about that. College football is played much differently today than it was 15 years ago.
Yes, it is.
So we got Zoe on the line talking Miami football. He does that every day on his channel at the U Family 1219. What have you been talking about recently over there?
Basically the same thing. People are so frustrated, and I try to play devil's advocate on both sides. I try not to get too. I don't throw shade at players at all because I feel like when you go to college, you're going to learn, and these coaches are. Like I say, Dan Enos making a year. How much money do you think Jaron Williams is making? So he's going there to be coached up by. So it's your responsibility to get these kids coached up. And like I say, I just look at. I always compare our talent level to our competitors. I don't compare our talent level to Clemson. I don't compare our talent level to Alabama or Ohio State. That's not how I compare our talent level to because we're not there. Plus, we don't play those teams. I compare our talent level to everybody in the ACC Coastal. That's it. That's the only people I can compare our talent level to. And top to bottom, there's not one team in ACC Coastal that has nowhere near the talent. I think the closest team, even last year, I think we was at 26, 27. And I think the closest team behind us was in the 50s. In recruiting. I mean, there's nobody nowhere near. So, and people will say, well, what about the years before this, the years before that? Listen, you have to realize when Al Golden took over, that was the beginning of Evan Shapiro. So you can't. It's even hard to blame. Even though I blame Rick, it's hard to blame the two coaches that was in it and the one that ended up, resigning. But he still was a part of it because the last year he coached was the last year of the sanctions. So this is the first year of not having those sanctions. So one
of the classes that Rick brought in, I was just going to say, one of the classes that Rick brought in was number 8 in the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, with those sanctions. So I mean, that's crazy. It's unbelievable to do that. So you were fighting against a lot. Rick's problem was he wanted to call plays again, and he wanted to teach his son to call plays.
Yeah, I'll never get that whole situation. I will just never get it. I don't know what he thought he was getting into when he went to Miami. I thought, man, this is a great spot for him. It's his alma mater. He's got one more last shot at an elite program, and he's proven he can win at a high level. He just needs to take it to the next degree, get himself 2 excellent coordinators. He's the guy that's the CEO, the face of the whole deal. He knows how to do that. I thought it was going to be a great situation.
From day one, I knew it was going to be bad. From day one, I said it before we did it. I knew it was going to be bad because I watched him up here at Georgia. Some people are just stuck in their way. Some people just refuse to adapt to things. But I feel like we have a great. I feel like we have a great line. Like I said, I want to be more positive than negative. So in order to be more positive, I got to put it out there. Even on my show, I'm not as negative as I used to be because it just doesn't get you nowhere. And we have a program. People don't understand. We have a good program. We just need to. At the end of the day, I love Captain Tripp always. He's always in the chat. At the end of the day, coaching is the number one. That's number one, coaching. That's why it's called coaching and development. That's what they need to do, develop these young men. And if you feel like you don't have the young men at Miami, like I said, I'm willing to bet you every one of these players on this roster could go to a Power 5 school and play. And you have the players, especially for the Coastal. So when it comes to tomorrow's game at 3:30 at Dope,
3:30. Yep.
You're gonna have to. I don't care if one team was 0-11 and the other team was 11-0. It would be a dog fight. So it's gonna be a dog fight. It's gonna be an excellent game. It's gonna be an excellent football game. And to be honest with you, you're not gonna be able to take too much away from it either way, because they're gonna both put their best on the field.
Captain Trips, I got a hard out in literally less than a minute. So Georgia, Florida, you got my prediction down in the description section below. Just grab the link, and that's where I've got all my predictions right there. Georgia, Florida. Surprise, surprise. I had a Georgia blogger on. He picked Georgia. I had a couple of Florida people on. They picked Florida. So there you go. It's a 3-point spread with Georgia.
I picked Florida.
Florida?
I got Florida. I got. Well, where's that game being played at? That game is being played in Jacksonville, right?
Neutral site.
I wouldn't be surprised if Florida won by 10.
Okay, there's the pick from Zoe.
I just think Kirby Smart is on his way downward. He's on a downward spiral.
Okay. All right, Zoe. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too, man. Like I said, Miami 24. Miami 24.
So jump on over to Zoe's channel.
I'm not going on right now. I'm going on at 7 o'clock, I think. So.
All right, there you heard it. 7 o'clock Eastern time. There you go. Zoe's going to be on live.
I appreciate it, Mark, and hopefully at the end of the year we can. If you hit another, where you at subscribers now?
Well, I'm about 15,300, something in that range.
So you get a few more subscribers, maybe we can do another giveaway on your channel. See how that works out.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
I appreciate you, Mark. Thanks, man.
Always. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Enjoy the game, everyone.
All right, thanks.